Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Neil Costigan. I'm the CEO of BehavioSec. BehavioSec are a Swedish IT, mobile and IT security company who develop behavioral biometrics. And what behavioral biometrics are is it's a way of verifying and identifying people based on how they act, their behavior. So specifically what we're doing is watching how people interact with their desktop, their web browser and their mobile app, and monitor that their behavior on it is consistent with what they've done in the past. For example, we're looking at the typing rhythm, not exactly what you're typing, not your passwords, but how you type them, the speed you move between keys, how hard you press a key, how quickly you go across the sequence. And likewise on mobile, we'd be looking at things like the pressure you put on a key and how fast your swipe moves across the screen. And we use this, we mix it all together into an AI engine and come up in real time with a score, how likely this person is who they say they are. The other thing about it is we're trying to do this transparently. There's no new user interface, there's no extra step for the end user. They're just doing what they normally do, and transparently inside the apps and inside the website, we have this extra biometric that enhances the security of what a person's normally used to. So, PINs and passwords, relatively insecure. You add in a secret dimension of a biometric and you increase the security. I'll just give a quick example or a demonstration on the mobile here of a gesture-based biometric. So a lot of you will be quite familiar with this pattern-based authentication that you can put on your phone as a key locker. And in this case, if you know my pattern, I can get in and that's fine. But actually what I'm looking at here, or what we're looking at, is more than that. If I'm not the same, if I put more pressure and take a longer time to do it, it'll spot it. So what we're getting is the pressure, the angles between the points, the velocity you go across it, how quick you start and stop. And so my pattern is not what it is, it's how you do it. And this is this extra dimension we call a behavioral biometric. Now, as I said, we're Swedish, as you can tell from my accent, and we've been pretty successful in the Nordics. We've been selling to the internet banks since 2011. We launched our first technology out there. This year, just early last year, Danske Bank would have been our biggest high-profile and public reference. Examined the technology, monitored their customers for a period of about 3 months, and realized that we could capture, as an additional layer, 99.7% of all users who had the credentials of somebody else. So not only did they know the PIN numbers, but they knew that they had got usernames and passwords and they were logging in. And afterwards, we were able to detect that those persons were not carrying out the exact same way. And Danske, based on this, decided to roll it out all across the region. So here in the UK, they're active too. It's 2.5 million users using this behavioral as this extra layer. Additionally, we've been working also in the finance industry with the credit card companies. And so we worked on a large project, or big project, one of the large credit card companies, where we instrumented a web shop, both mobile and web, where the whole process of selecting gifts, purchasing them, putting in credit card details, and the shipping address. And we monitor all across this, not just the user password, but everything you're doing, the additional payment details, the additional shipping addresses, the gifts, all this stuff, the mouse movements would be part of the mix. And what we determined there is that 99.9% of the people putting in details for somebody else could be detected based on analyzing the past behavior of the correct user against what we were seeing. And it's all done in real time. And so I'm going to give an example here again of a very simple example of there we go, bank. This is a standard mobile banking app, and we've mocked it up. You've probably seen a few mocked up banks today and payment applications. Well, here's yet another one. And when I do a simple transfer, I would do the usual stuff like a payment address and who I'm paying it to, like a phone number, an amount of money, a date, and off it goes. And what this has done, transparently in the background, is watch my behavior, how I hit those keys, how hard they were, how fast I jumped to the next ones. Even the XY position in the keys are all fed in. The angle of the phone, the accelerometer, how I move around, are all mixed in and part of the biometric. If I then go and do this, and I'm going to admittedly exaggerate it, and I slowly add in the same details. So I'm paying that one to this one. This time I'm an attacker, so I'm going to get a lot more money. And I'm going to do it today. I'm and paid. And what's happened here, I failed. And instead of just getting through, the user experience changes. This is when I have to produce the heavy security. I've got to come up with a one-time token. So it's an adaptive, risk-based security model. If the behavior isn't right, then go off and ask for the check. Do not force the end user for a horrible user experience to have a smart card or a token or whatever in a mobile world. Now, this is all done very lightly in the clients, and it's in the backend. If you could switch over to the laptop. We have a dashboard here. We're monitoring all the transactions that are coming in. This can be hosted by us in the cloud, or quite commonly, actually, it's used by the internet banks in their own data center. And they're getting the results in real time to make the decisions you saw, but they can also go in and check out what's going on. This is the transaction I've just done. That's my social security number. You can see I've been playing with this a little while today, testing it out. The initial training, when we saw the person 3 or 4 times to get a profile for them, not a specific training period, just watching the user doing what they're normally doing. And after a while, we're pretty confident, which would be the blue line, that we have enough details to compare what they're doing to what they've done in the past. And you can drill down, you can see the various transactions. I've gone through successful ones and failure ones. That last one would be here, the end one. And I can drill into this and I see the score, I can see the points, I can even see the details of each of the individual fields and see what's there. And so this tool has been used by the fraud people, anti-fraud people in the banks to, both in real time, help them detect fraud, but also afterwards for forensics and examining. And an interesting thing with a biometric is that it's not black or white. It's not just, is it you or not? If it's not you, who could it be? And so we can detect fraudsters. If transactions have been marked as repeat fraudsters or repeat lead suspect, you can go and compare against them. And something like this, if I take one more step, we can go and analyze if it's not me, who it is. Well, in this case, we know it's me with about 95% confidence in the attack, but also there's other users there who it isn't. But if it was a known fraudster, I could go and detect and see that. And so this ability to mark off known fraudsters, there we go. So thank you very much for listening to me today.